Jennifer from simplescrapper.com. In this episode of the ABCs of Simple Scrapbooking, we're going to talk about what this milkshake has to do with scrapbooking. So I'm sitting here in the car drinking my milkshake, and I just came from Michael's. And just like how I shouldn't be drinking this milkshake, I probably shouldn't have gone to Michael's. So I thought I would just sit here in the car, sit under a tree here, it's kind of nice, and talk to you a little bit about Q is for quit that already. So why did I go to Michael's? Well, number one, I was in the car already, and number two, I had heard on a forum that I was reading that Michael's had gotten in some new washi tapes, the infamous wall of washi, which I'd actually already seen in Houston at another Michael's. And I'd also heard that they were getting in Studio Calico 6x6 paper pads from the Classic Calico version 2, which was a last season collection. And so why did I want to go? Well, I think it's almost the novelty of it, of seeing more on-trend scrapbook supplies that you might see from a traditional scrapbooking store at the big box retailer. Because we don't have a scrapbook store here where I live in Illinois. And seeing these cool products that I like to work with in Michael's is one of the reasons why I wanted to go. Now, it's not like I can't get this 6x6 paper pad on the internet and order it when I order other supplies. But there's something about seeing it in person, which is why I went to Michael's. And they didn't have it. My Michael's tends to not be keeping up with all of the trends, because we live in a more rural area. We don't live in a big city. The Michael's in Houston that I went to did have some of those things that people have been talking about. Like the Amy Tangerine sketchbook collection on an end cap. I did find that, and I found some stickers when I was there. So what did I get at Michael's? I got 4 pieces of white cardstock and a 1 micron pen. So super, super exciting. But I didn't go to Michael's with those things in mind. While I do need the pen, I really don't need it. I do have other pens, but I kind of wanted another super fine pen. Do I need more cardstock? Oh, maybe, but I probably would have more coming in the mail soon. So, the purchases weren't totally useless, but did I really need to go to Michael's? And the answer is probably not. I went for the novelty of it, and I probably shouldn't have. So, I'm guessing that some of you out there are just like me. That you tend to go visit your scrapbook store, or your big box retailer, or wherever you do your shopping. And this could even be not about scrapbooking. Just because there's a sale, or you want to see what's new, and maybe you just want to get out of the house, which is one of the things that I like to do since I do work from home. And we all have these little bad habits that maybe aren't as productive as they should be. Maybe we're wasting our time and we're wasting our money on these little bad habits. And so that's what I really wanted this episode to be about today. So, if you're like me, what are those things that you need to quit doing? What are those things that are keeping you from being efficient and from actually scrapbooking? Those little habits that you do, and they're maybe mostly benign, but they're getting in the way from you reaching your memory-keeping goals. One of the things that I also do is I tend to wait to print pictures until I have a really large batch. And then it's a lot of effort to get them all uploaded, to make sure that every picture I need is there. And then when I see the price tag, I get a little bit of a sticker shock. And then I almost sometimes don't want to place the order, even though I do want to print my pictures, but I've waited so long, it's now very expensive. The same goes with my digital scrapbook layouts. I'll wait 6 months to a year to print them out, and then it's quite expensive, even if I have a coupon, to print them all. So if I didn't wait so long, then I might not have that same type of sticker shock. It may not take as long, and it may not be so overwhelming. And that type of overwhelm and that procrastination that we do applies to so many areas of our scrapbooking. Particularly when it comes to our photos, whether it's editing or just taking them off your camera. With the number of photos we take these days, it can be so easy to let them stack up, and then you're just not able to move forward, and it's just one of those little bad habits. We talk a lot about not getting distracted by all the inspiration on the internet, surfing Pinterest. We talk a lot about not comparing yourself to others and getting caught up in that. And so I'm not going to really dwell on that today. You know, if you have those problems, you know you do, and you know that there are ways to overcome them. We're talking about some of the other things you do, the more benign little quirks that might be getting in the way. The things, little habits you need to quit already. Another little thing that I need to quit is I need to quit overanalyzing my layouts. I have this little habit where it takes me about 30 minutes to create a page, to create 98% of that page, and then it takes me another half an hour, maybe even an hour, to determine where the final one or two embellishments are going to go. And I really wish I didn't have this habit, but something about that final kind of design element really gets in the way. And so I need to quit that overanalysis and just let it go and let my layouts be what they are, because the 98% is probably plenty good enough. Now here's one last thing that I know that there's many of you out here that do that. And that's, you have to get organized before you can get started. I am notorious in all parts of my life for having to clean up before I can get started. I have to clean the kitchen before I can start dinner. I have to clean the bedroom before I can make the bed. I have to clean my scrapbook room before I can start scrapbooking. I have to clean my desk before I can start working. This is one of my worst habits, and something that I've been trying hard to overcome. And of course, sometimes it's worse than others, and I'm even a little nutty about it, so much that I have to force myself to stop being so particular. And this, particularly for scrapbookers, can really get in the way of creating pages, especially if you have a lot of supplies and you're always in that organization mode. You never get a chance to get to the scrapbooking mode. So this was the Q episode for ABCs of Simple Scrapbooking, and I would love if you left me a comment confessing to one of your bad habits that you'd really like to quit. Thanks.
The ABCs of Simple Scrapbooking is brought to you by Simple Scrapper, where you can find solutions for stress-free memory keeping. Visit us at simplescrapper.com and sign up for email updates where you can get a free gift.